So you've done the self-help and you've dipped into some personal development, but now you ask the question, now what? What can you do? Well, if you want to escape the apathy, step right this way. So twice a year, I teach a course called AUTONOMY. It's a 12-week personal development and training course. What people get out of it is multifaceted. There's curriculum, there's exercises, there's camaraderie, you make new friends. There's a whole lot of interesting things. We're going to hear a sample from the course right now, and let's take a look at the value these students are getting.
Every book I have, I bought for a specific reason because there's some piece of information in there that I either wanted to memorialize and keep and archive or to study so I could learn it better. So there's like the two categories. So once I get a book in the mail, it usually sits around for a while. And I
As you
get
do.
big stacks of books. And then when I do get a time to read, it's like, what's the book I need to read next in my journey? So I don't try to pre-program my journey too far ahead, thinking I know what I need to know in the future, because I don't yet. So I learned that lesson years ago. And so like right now I have a bunch of optional books to read. Like I bought everything Annie Jacobson has written, which is like, I don't know, 5,000 pages. It's crazy. I have a whole history of the East India Company back here. It's like a 4-volume set by Dalrymple. It's like 5,000 pages. So I haven't hit those stacks yet, but I will knock off little books at a time because I could read. If it's in a subject area I'm competent in, like most of what I read, so I'm reading in my competence area because I'm doing deeper study, I can consume a 500-page book, I don't know, in a day or two. If I don't have anything else going on and I'm just reading, I can eat books like people eat meals. So the way I get it is I look at the table of contents. I already know there's valuable stuff in it, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. I go to the index, and the index tells me what I don't know. It also tells me points of interest in here where I do have familiarity. So I might pick up a book and it has some reference in there. I'm reading through the index and I just go in and start spot reading. And then I get a quality of the book from that spot read. And I know if I want to read the whole book page by page, or if there's just certain sections in here useful to my work that I need to consume and the rest is kind of extraneous. So you separate the signal from the noise. And then as I go through the book, I use a highlighter and I use Post-it kind of flags. So it's like Post-it notes, but they're smaller. So they're like a little bit more refined. I had some sitting here earlier. They're little tiny things. 3M used to make a highlighter that held the tags in it, and that was best. Like I was in my heyday. I had a highlighter and the tags built into one device, and they stopped making those things. I can't believe them. I want to write hate mail to 3M and be like, give me more, please. And they'll sell them to you, but they want to sell different colors, and I just want yellow. So I'm not friends with 3M anymore. I've changed brands. And so I'll go through and I make notes in the margin in pen sometimes, I'll make a star, or like I'll say, something to call out later. Because what I'm doing for later is I'm mapping the useful nuggets in that territory of the book for later reference. Because if I can't marshal what I'm reading to deliver utility and service later, I'm not really doing something that's not productive. But when I'm like, here's a territory, it's a Bertrand Russell book. Like the whole book is not what we're interested in. Otherwise, everyone would be reading that book. But these quotes right here that were so influential in these other people who changed our world, that is substantial and it is worth referencing in the future. So in those aspects, like I didn't read David Rockefeller's whole memoirs, but I definitely read the part where he said the quiet part out loud. And that's the reason I bought those books. And there's a lot of other books like that. So you get into them maybe because of the nugget, but because that nugget's so interesting, you want the context. So you end up reading the whole book. But that's like 2 out of 10 times. So knowing what's in a book, knowing what's useful to your endeavors, knowing how to find that in the future, those are the 3 things that I kind of circulate around. And I have a couple different versions of how to read a book by Mortimer Adler. There's like 6 ways to read a book. I find a lot of them not necessary, but a couple of them are very useful, right? So it's like you can know there's 6, but you only use 2 or 3. These types of things. There's a couple other people who analyze books. I kind of just developed my own way because my reading is not like most people's reading. Like I read in chunks. Like I can look at a paragraph and kind of suck it in, and then my brain makes it all go in the right order. So they would call that a learning disability in school, though my grades never showed it. It showed a learning really ability. So I don't know. I don't like labels given to people that they wear long term. So I try not to put those on myself, because to label myself is to negate my best aspects usually.
Everyone's doing some kind of self-help these days, and you can find a million self-help courses out there. Most other courses out there are hosting lectures, they're hosting videos, they're maybe even doing Q&As, and these are great starting points to encourage learning. But at AUTONOMY, we believe that hands-on practice is the best way to really lock in what we're learning. There's no better way to gain confidence and mastery than through action. After each lecture, we practice the concepts we've learned with other students, giving and receiving feedback in a non-judgmental environment. The result is mastery of concepts like entrepreneurship, ethical sales, and self-reliance in an environment that directly translates to the real world. Plus, you make connections with other like-minded individuals who are learning right alongside you, and you have a lifetime membership in the community. The AUTONOMY course with Richard Grove equips you with confidence, competence, and courage in a world filled with confusion and noise. You can learn more at getautonomy.info. We'll see you there.